Welcome to the LMWC Learning Mathematics with Ms. Choekyi channel. Please do hit the like button and subscribe the channel.
Hello everyone. So today we are going to start the exercise 2.2 of the polynomial chapter. Find the zeros of the following quadratic polynomials and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. So this question says that we have to find the zeros, and after finding out the zeros, we have to verify the relationship between the zero and the coefficients. So if you recall, there are two formulas, right? The two formulas are the sum of the zeros and the product of zeros. So those two formula, we are going to use it over here. So first thing first, we will find out the zero. So to find the zero of a quadratic polynomials, we are going to use the factorization method. So as you can see here, the middle term is the one which has the x variable. So we are going to take only the constant, which is the coefficient of the x, and that is -2. So we are going to take this -2 and we are going to split it up into two numbers, which if you subtract or add, you are going to get back this -2. And at the same time, those two numbers which you have found, if you take the product, it should get you the product of the first and the last term. So if you take the product of this, so this is the coefficient is 1 over here, and here the coefficient is -8. So 1 times -8 is -8. So which means we are going to take 4 and 2, and we are going to put a -4 over here. So -4 plus 2 is -2. -4 times 2 is -8. So therefore, if we do the factorizations, we are going to get the factors as x minus 4 times x plus 2. And this we are going to equate it with 0, because since we are asked to find the 0, which means the polynomial is converting into 0 at certain value of x. So therefore, we will equate it as 0, okay? So next is x minus 4 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0. So hence x is equals to, taking the -4 to the right hand side, the sign will get changed. So x is equals to 4, or x is equals to negative. So next is we have to find the relationship between the 0 and the coefficients. For that, what we need is, we need alpha, we need beta, we need the value of a, b, and c. So since the zeros are 4 and -2, we will just take it randomly. Our alpha is 4, our beta is -2. Whereas the a is the coefficient of x squared, so we have to go back to the question. So before x squared, it is 1. So a is 1, whereas b is the coefficient of x, which is -2, and c is the constant term, which is -8. Now we know the value of alpha, beta, a, b, and c. So we'll just directly use the formula. So the first formula is sum of zeros is equals to minus b by a, right? Substituting the values, so it will be 4 plus -2. So negative, we will put it in a bracket, and minus b is -2 by 1. So 4 plus into minus is minus. -2, minus times minus is positive, so 2 by 1 is 2, so 4 minus 2 is 2, and since LHS is equals to RHS, so this is verified. Similarly, we will do it for the product of zeros, which is alpha into beta is equals to c by a, so alpha being 4, beta being -2, and c is equals to -8, and a is equals to 1, which is -8 equals to -8. And over here also, left hand side and the right hand side are equal. So this is how you have to verify the zeros and the coefficients of certain polynomials. So moving forward to the next question. So second question is also the same thing. We are going to do it. We will split the middle term, which is -4s. So -4, we are going to split it up into two numbers, and we have to get the product of the first and the last number, which is 4 times 1 is 4, +4. So that means I can think of 2 and 2. So 2 and 2, if you add it, you're going to get 4. But the sign is negative, which means I have to put a minus over here as well as minus. So -2 and -2, minus and minus, you will always add the numbers and you will put the negative sign. Similarly, minus times minus, if you take the product, it will always be positive. So 2 times 2 is 4, which means our next step will be 4s squared. So instead of writing minus 4s, I'm going to replace it with the minus 2s, again minus 2s, and then plus 1. So this again we will equate it with 0, since we have to find the 0 of this polynomial. And after this we are going to take the common from the first two terms, so that is 2 and s. So 2 times 2 is 4, s times s is s squared, which we got the first term. Second thing is 2s times minus 1 is minus 2s. So similarly, we are going to do it for this one. So the one which we have found in the bracket, same thing, we are going to replace it here. And we are going to think of this number, making sure that the number which you are going to write over here, if you take the product of with the 2s, you have to get this term, which means minus 1, right? Minus 1 times 2s is minus 2s, minus 1 times minus 1 is positive 1. So which is also equals to 0. Next is the one which is inside the bracket, we will take the common, and the rest, the number which are outside the bracket, we will put it within the bracket. So what we are actually doing over here is we are taking the common from here. And thus 2s is equals to 1 implies s is equals to 1 by 2. So similarly, the other s is also equals to 1 by 2. So thus our alpha is equals to half, our beta is also equals to half, and our a is equals to the coefficient of s squared, which is 4, and the b is equals to coefficient of s, which is negative 4, and c is the constant term, which is positive 1. So we will take the first verification, which is sum of the 0 equals to minus b by a. So alpha is equals to half plus beta equals to half minus b value is negative 4 and a is 4. So half plus half is 1, which is equals to negative times negative is positive. So 4 by 4, which is equals to 1. So for the second verification, product of zeros, which is equals to c by a. So half into half equals to c value is 1, a is equals to 4. So 1 into 1 is 1, 2 into 2 is 4, which is equals to RHS. So with this, we are done with the second question. So in the third question, we can see that the term with the variable x, right, it's at the last, whereas the term which has no x, which we call as a constant term, it is in the middle. But normally the term with having an x should be in the middle, right? So we have to change their place. So let's change the place. It will be 6x squared, negative 7x, and negative 3. So this we will have to equate it with 0, since we have to find the 0. Now we will proceed in the same manner. We will find the middle term split of this minus 7. So minus 7, and the product as 6 and negative 3 is minus 18, 6 times negative 3. So which means we can think of number 9 and 2. Since we are having the negative 7, so therefore the larger number will carry the negative. So we can rewrite this as minus 9x plus 2x negative 3 equals to 0. So taking the common from the first two terms, 3x, 3 times 2 is 6. So x times x is x squared, minus 3 times 3 is 9. So x into 1 is x. So same thing which you have got it inside this bracket, we will just copy it down to save our time. And here we will write positive 1, right? So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times x is x, which is equals to 0. So now the one which is inside the bracket, you will write it as 1 time. And the one which is outside the bracket, you will write it within the bracket. So which is equals to 2x minus 3 is equals to 0, which implies x is equals to positive 3 by 2, and the 3x plus 1 equals to 0. This is also equals to x equals to negative 1 by 3. So now we have got the alpha and beta over here. So our alpha is equals to 3 by 2. Our beta is equals to negative 1 by 3. Our a is equals to 6. Our b is equals to negative 7. And our c is equals to negative 3. So the first formula, so alpha plus beta equals to minus b by a. So alpha being 3 by 2 plus beta being negative 1 by 3 equals to minus of b is equals to negative 7 and a is equals to 6. So 3 by 2 plus into minus is minus, 1 by 3, minus into minus is plus, 7 by 6. So 3 and 2, the denominators are 3 and 2. If you take the LCM, it will be 2 times 3, 6, which means you have to multiply 3 over here. 3 times 3 is 9. And here 3 times 2 is 6, which means I have to multiply 2 over here. So 1 times 2 is 2, which is equal to 7 by 6. So 9 minus 2 is 7 by 6, and hence LHS is equals to RHS. Similarly, for the second verification, product of 0 equals to C by A. So alpha as 3 by 2 times beta as minus 1 by 3, which is equals to C is negative 3 by A, which is 6. So 3 and 3, we can cancel it out. So final answer is minus 1 by 2. Similarly, 3 times 1, 3 times 2. So final answer is minus 1 by 2, and hence our verification is done for this question. So the fourth question, since we have only two terms, we will try to take the common from these two terms. And since 4 and 8 are multiple of 4, I can take the 4 as common. And since both has the variable u, I can take the u as common, which means our first common will be 4u. That 4u times u is 4u squared, plus 4 times 2 is 8. So u, there is only 1, so it's 1 time. So which is equals to 0. And we will split this up. So 4u is equals to 0, or u plus 2 is equals to 0, which means our 1 0 is 0 by 4, which is 0. And the second u is negative 2, the second 0. So hence, our alpha, we can name it as 0. Our beta, we can name it as negative 2. A as 4. B as 8. Now, since C is a constant term and in the questions we do not have the constant term, so you can just write it as 0. So the first verification, alpha plus beta equals to minus B by A. So alpha equals to 0, beta equals to negative 2, minus of B is equals to 8, and A is equals to 4. So 0 plus minus 2 is minus 2, which is equals to 4 times 1, 4 times 2, it is equals to minus 2. So the second, we have product of 0 equals to C by A. So 0 times minus 2 equals to C is equals to 0. So A is equals to 4. So 0 times minus 2 is 0. And 0 divided by 4 is also 0. And thus we are done with this question. So next question, again we have two terms. So here, again we are going to do the same way. So since we do not see a common from the first and the second term, right? Here it is t and here it is 15. So variable also there is no common, and the constant also there is no common. So what we are going to do is directly we are going to say t squared minus 15 is equals to 0. And then t squared is equals to, if you take the minus 15 to the right hand side, the sign will change. And we need only the variable t without the square, which means this will be root of 15 with a sign plus and minus. So it can be either plus or it can be minus. And hence, our alpha is equals to, let's say, positive 15, and our beta is equals to negative 15. And our A is equals to 1, B is not given, so 0, and C is equals to the constant term, negative 15. So the first verification, sum of 0 equals to minus B by A. So alpha is equals to root 15 plus beta equals to minus root 15, which is equals to minus b value is 0 and a is equals to 1. So root 15 plus into minus is minus root 15. So negative 0 by 1 is 0 itself. So plus 15 and minus 15, it will be 0 equals to 0. So the second is product of 0 is equals to c by a. So root of 15 times minus root of 15 is equals to c is equals to minus 15 by a is equals to 1. So root 15 into root 15 is 15, plus into minus is minus, equals to minus 15 by 1 is minus 15. So the next question, again, we are going to proceed the same manner. So the middle term or the middle coefficient is -1, and the product of the first and the last term are 3 times -4 is -12. So which means we can think of 3 and 4. So we will put the negative over 4. So 4 and -4 plus 3 is -1, and 3 times -4 is -12. So we can rewrite this as 3x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 4 equated to 0. Take the common from the first two terms, so we can take 3x as the common, so that will be 3x x plus 1. So here also x plus 1, we can write it this way. So the common from here is 4, so we can write the 4 over here with the sign minus, right? So that is equals to 0. So taking the common from here as well, so x plus 1 is the common one, and the one which is not common is 3x minus 4. And x plus 1 is equals to 0, so therefore x is equals to -1, and 3x minus 4 is equals to 0, which means our another 0 is 4 upon 3. So alpha is equals to -1, beta is equals to 4 upon 3, and a equals to 3, b equals to -1, c equals to -4. So the first verification, sum of the 0, so formula is minus b upon a. So substitute the value, so alpha as -1, beta as 4 by 3, and b is equals to -1, and a is equals to 3. So we have to take the LCM for this. So 3 and 1 LCM is 3. So therefore, you have to multiply 3 to the -1 and plus 4. No changes because the denominator itself is 3. So negative and negative take the product. So it will be +1. So 1 upon 3. So -3 plus 4 is +1 by 3, which is same as our RHS. So the second verification is product of 0. Formula is c upon a. So alpha as -1, beta as 4 by 3, c as -4, and a as 3. So -1 times 4 by 3 is -4 by 3, which is same as RHS. So with this, we are done with the first question. So the next questions, we are asked to find a quadratic polynomial, and the given are the sum and the product of the zeros. So we are given the alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. So here alpha plus beta is 1 upon 4 and alpha into beta as -1. So with these two given, we have to find the quadratic polynomials. So for that, we have a formula that is x squared minus alpha plus beta times x plus alpha beta equals to 0. So we have to use this formula for such questions. So what we are going to do is we are just going to replace the alpha plus beta as per the question, alpha into beta as per the question, and we have to rearrange the polynomial as per the general form. So let's do it. So I'm going to copy the x squared as it is. I'm going to copy the negative as well. So alpha plus beta I'm going to replace as 1 by 4, and again this x I'm copied it down. Next plus also I'm copied it down. Alpha into beta I'm going to replace it with -1, and equal to 0 also I'm going to write it down. We have a fraction over here in the coefficient of the x, so I am going to take the LCM for the whole term. So that will become 4. So this will be 4x squared minus x minus 4, which is equal to 0. So I'm going to take the denominator 4 over this side. So our final answer will be 4x squared minus x minus 4 equals to 0 times 4 is 0. So this is general form of quadratic polynomial. So second question, we have alpha plus beta as root of 2 alpha into beta as 1 upon 3. So first let us write the formula. Minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha into beta equals to 0. So I just have to replace the alpha plus beta as root 2 and alpha into beta as 1 upon 3. So I don't need a fraction over here. So to eliminate the fractions, I am going to take the LCM. So that will be 3x squared minus 3 root 2x plus 1 equals to 0. So therefore, the final answer is 3x squared minus 3 root 2x plus 1 equals to 0. So third question, alpha plus beta is equal to 0. Alpha into beta equals to root of 5. So let's write down the formula. X squared minus alpha plus beta times x plus alpha into beta equals to 0. So replace the value. So x squared minus alpha plus the beta value is 0 times x plus root of 5. So x squared, so 0 times x is 0. So no need to write the middle terms. Directly we will write it as x squared plus root of 5 equals to 0, which is our final answer. So next question we have alpha plus beta as 1, alpha into beta as also 1. So our quadratic polynomial will be x squared minus alpha plus beta times x plus alpha into beta equals to 0, which is x squared minus 1x plus 1 equals to 0, which we can further rewrite it as x squared minus x plus 1 equals to 0. So next question, alpha plus beta is minus 1 upon 4. Alpha into beta is 1 upon 4. So replacing it in the formula, alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta equals to 0, which is equals to x squared minus, so alpha plus beta is minus 1 by 4, so I'll put it in the bracket, plus alpha into beta is 1 by 4, which we can further rewrite it as x squared minus times minus is plus 1 by 4x plus 1 by 4. So I have a fraction over here. So I'm going to take the LCM. So this, the first will be 4x squared plus x plus 1 equals to 0. And hence it will be 4x squared plus x plus 1 equals to 0. So the last question, so alpha plus beta is 4, alpha into beta is equals to 1. So x squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta equals to 0. So replacing the value over here, minus 4x plus 1 equals to 0, which is our quadratic polynomials. So with this, we are done with all the exercise of the chapter number 2. So next video, we are going to talk about the chapter number 3. Thank you.